Hello everyone and a warm welcome to Energy Frontiers. I am Omono Okonkwo. Here is some trending news in Africa's energy industry this week. The 20 megawatts Golomoti solar PV and battery energy storage project, which was developed by a Canada-based company, JCM Power, has been completed in Malawi. The Democratic Republic of Congo and Zambia have signed a memorandum of understanding to develop their cobalt reserves for the local manufacturing of batteries for electric vehicles. The European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, Morocco's Central Bank, and Groupement Professionnel des Banques du Maroc have signed an agreement to support climate and environmental risk management and to promote green finance in Morocco. Empower New Energy and Climate Investor One have signed an agreement to support the development of renewable energy projects across Africa. The agreement will provide energy access to 370,000 people and create 9,500 jobs. The European Bank for Reconstruction and Development will lend up to $4.8 million for waste to energy efficiency, and solar PV projects in Egypt. Tanzania's Energy Minister, January Makamba, has announced the government's decision to provide a subsidy of 100 billion shillings to reduce fuel prices in the East African country. Anglo American has launched a prototype of Africa's first ever hydrogen-powered mining truck in South Africa under the New Gen Zero Emission Haulage Solution project. UAE-based AMEA Power has reached a financial close on the 26.6 megawatt Zena solar power plant in Burkina Faso. The plant will provide electricity access to over 40,000 people and help avoid 13,200 CO2 emissions per year in the country. The International Atomic Energy Agency has given approval for Uganda's plans to build East Africa's first nuclear power station. Ugandan Energy Minister Sidronius Okoloto Kasai says that a land has been acquired to build the 2 gigawatt facility. The International Finance Corporation, Netherlands Development Finance Corporation, and British International Investment will invest $165 million in Kenya's Equity Bank to provide loans to small and medium-sized enterprises to finance climate-smart projects. Sierra Leone's Petroleum Regulatory Agency has announced a decision to stop providing foreign exchange for mining companies and other large businesses to import oil as of June 1st, 2022, due to stockpiling. Next on Energy Frontiers is my conversation with Kola Karim, the Chief Executive Officer at Shoreline Energy International, on the possible ban on Russian crude by the European Union. This is Energy Frontiers. Welcome back to the program. The European Union is considering a ban on Russian oil. But what impact would that have on Africa's hydrocarbon industry? My guest on Energy Quick Chat is Kola Karim, the Chief Executive Officer of UK-based Shoreline Energy International. Here is an excerpt of our conversation, but you can watch the entire interview on our Frontier Africa Reports YouTube page. Enjoy it. What's your view on plans by the European Union to ban Russian crude oil?
Look, this is the situation as of today. The problem is banning in name, easy to say, but what alternatives do the Europeans have when you ban crude oil exports from Russia into the European Union? It's a big question, and I'll tell you why. Today, at least 30% of the supply of the European Union consumption comes from Russia. That is a huge amount of supply that's going to be disrupted and a replacement found. And the problem is, where do you find that replacement from? Remember, Iran has had huge disruption because of sanctions. Venezuela,
Yes.
the same. So when you have big reserve owners like Iran, big reserves like in Venezuela, both under severe sanctions for the last 6, 7, 8, 9 years, the problem of finding the quantum of replacement the European Union needs in crude oil is just not readily available. So that's the quagmire.
Right. So, what are the expected impacts or opportunities, if any, for Africa's oil producers?
There is a lot. Look, African oil producers or Africa resource producers in general should be the biggest beneficiary of this problem between Russia and Ukraine. And I'll tell you why. Both from the oil supply front and secondly on the gas supply front.
So, Africa's oil producers are heading to Angola for its high-profile Cape 8 conference next week. So, what are your expectations?
The expectations of the conference in Angola is simple. African producers are going to get together with the international producers and international oil companies and also some people, financiers, talk about what is obvious. And what has been obvious in Africa, we're not producing quota, and that is down to two major faults. The pandemic slowed down consumption, and ESG. Global disposition was put out that environmental, social, and governance become a prominent role, which means pronouncements were made by international financiers. They are not willing to finance fossil fuels anymore. Now, if that is the situation, that means African oil and gas has been starved of funding, and the first benchmark problem is the global pandemic. The second one is lack of capital to reinvest into oil and gas production. So these are all points of contention that will be up for discussion in Luanda, but there are no quick answers to this.
Okay, so Africa needs to ramp up its oil and gas production, but investments, just like you said, are slowing down, even for major producers like Nigeria. Tell me, what's going on in your industry?
Look, as I said, the ESG pronouncement and decarbonization is a huge problem for the future of oil and gas. And if global financiers or global providers of capital are now being restricted in capital being employed or deployed into oil and gas sector, that's going to be a problem. Remember, oil and gas production has a natural decline curve of about 5% a year. So if you're producing, a country like Nigeria producing, let's say 2 million barrels, on average a year, you need to replace those barrels by about 5% a year. If not, your production would naturally decline for about 4-5%. So if investments not available to continue the work program, continue the search for more oil and gas replacement and reserve replacement, there is eventually going to be a problem and there will be gaps. And that is what we've seen today. We've had pandemic for 2 years. We've had global providers of capital saying we're not going to provide capital to fossil fuels. So you've got about 3 to 4 years of lack of directed and targeted investment into the oil and gas sector. The end result is what we see, very high oil prices. As Global economy is opening up again. Remember, during the pandemic, airplanes were not flying, factories were closed, so consumption of oil was at all-time low. That's why we saw prices as low as $16, $17 a barrel. In the United States, we had oil at negative.
Let's track some energy product prices for you in a moment. Welcome back to Energy Frontiers with me, Omono Okonkwo. Early on Friday, the London Brent crude climbed 1.88% to trade at 109.47 USD per barrel, while the US WTI climbed 1.61% to trade at 107.90 USD per barrel. Natural gas slipped 0.48% to trade at 7.70 USD per MMBTU, also in early Friday trade. This week, aviation fuel costs per litre in Nigeria ranged from $1.16 to $1.40 per litre. In Ghana, $1.25 per litre, and in Liberia, $1.51 per litre. And that is the package for this edition of Your Energy Frontiers. And we thank you for watching. You can follow the show on Frontier Africa Reports website and all our social media accounts as shown on the screen. I am Omono Okonkwo, and I will see you next time.